Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So, for all you Audie fans, he's about 10 feet away from me right now, but I tripped on him earlier. So I think that's why he's not getting any closer. I don't think he trusts me today. We'll have to see if he's gotten over it. He's currently doing his sitting pretty at his cat dish, hoping that I will notice and magically treats will go onto his food. I'm not so sure. I'm not still irritated about the tripping mommy thing, but I do think I've been putting too many treats on his food lately, and I think he's starting to just expect that before he takes a bite out of the food in his dish, there should be some extra treats on it. I think I'm spoiling him. But, you know, to be perfectly honest, that ship sailed a long time ago. This is definitely a spoiled cat, and I don't think there's any walking back from this. But we'll have to see. He may end up making a little appearance, especially if he thinks you folks are more likely to put treats on his food. All right, we're going to break for the intro, and we will be right back. So before we get into the actual topic of this video, I thought I would share with you a scam email I got. Now, I get scam emails all the time. I used to be able to sort of confine them to some of my backup email accounts, but because I have a presence on YouTube and because YouTube requires me to keep contact information and publish it with my channel. So in the video notes, you will notice there's always some sort of email address there. It does leave me more vulnerable to scam emails than I would say the average person. Of course, I like them. I save them, and I will go back and respond to them when I'm in the mood and see if I can string the scammers along a little. But I got an interesting one, and the reason I found it interesting is mostly because all they want you to do is click a link. And when a scammer is asking very, very little of you, the kind of thing that society conditions us to do, no matter what. I mean, without thought, we get emails, we go to websites, and it's push this button, and we do it. I thought it was worthwhile to take a look at this particular scam email. So, let's get into it. So, here's the email. The return address is pengiveaway@suehamilton.us, and that is in fact repeated twice. And of course, it's sent to pengiveaway@suehamilton.us. And it reads, action required, notice of email deactivation, update notice, due to recent changes in the cPanel webmail server, some dormant account will be permanently deleted. In order to keep your email active on the pen giveaway at suehamilton.us server, we strongly recommend that you verify you are not a rebot. And followed by a link that says, verify I am not a robot. Also, there is a disclaimer at the bottom, which has been taken word from word, this is cut and paste, off the actual webmail.com server. So, Wow. Now, we have a lot of red flags. So let me start with the one that should be jumping out at you, because we've talked about this before. Always read the return address. If somebody writes to you and they're saying, I'm from Microsoft, I'm from Amazon, there's a charge on your account, make sure the return address says Microsoft. Oh, and check it very, very carefully, because sometimes scammers will set up accounts that are like pretending to be PayPal, but the actual return address will say PalPay or PayPill, something very close, so that a casual scan might not alert you to it. But if you actually stop and read it, you will see it's not who they pretend to be. To be honest, most of the time, scammers will not go to that bother, and it will be, John Smith 12345 at gmail.com. So in this case, what the scammer has done is used a program that will mirror my own email back as the return email address. Now, you can, in fact, get into the email information and determine where it did come from. That's the subject of a whole other video, and to be honest, I haven't done that sort of thing in a long time, but I assure you it is possible. When you see an email purportedly coming from you, when your address is the return address, dump it immediately. It is some kind of con. I mean, obviously, it's a con. It's either a scammer trying to get money from you, or information, which is almost as good, or it is a spammer, a mass marketing company that is engaging in this email deception in order to get you to open their email, read their sales pitch, whatever. So not all of them are criminals, but all of them are grifting on some level. So bottom line is, you see that in the return address. It's like, to me, from me, dump that email. Do not go any further with this process. The next point of interest is, at no point does this email tell me who has allegedly sent it. There should be a company name. Whenever a company gets in touch with you, they don't just put their name in one or two spots. They put their name in every possible location multiple times. Why? Because once they have your attention, it's advertising. The more times they can say Cheerios by General Mills or whoever it is that makes Cheerios, the more times they can say that and catch you reading it, the better it is for them. So every company will go out of their way to tell you who they are. In this case, nope, no sense of who it is. So next up, we have this. Yes, we are being notified that some dormant account is going to be canceled, deactivated. What does that even mean? Whose dormant account? Why would we think it is our dormant account? They have not said it is our dormant account. They have not told us anything that would even vaguely begin to make us concerned about the status of our email account if we have been paying attention to what we are reading. Some dormant account will be deactivated. So what? You're not saying it's my dormant account. Next up, we have this little interesting tidbit. The dormant account that is going to be deactivated is located on the pen giveaway at suehamilton.us server. This is not a server. This is an email account, and it has, there is a server that hosts it. But no, that is just bad techno speak. I think the way they catch most people is most people will have an email account that goes through Google, or, and that's the Gmail, Yahoo, even AOL.com. And they have become confused about their email host being their server. These are two different animals. Email hosts may have many servers. There are many servers out there that have no email accounts on them. So it's basically being written by somebody who doesn't understand what they're talking about. Yeah, scary. Next up, we have this request that we prove we are not a rebot. I'm not quite sure what a rebot is, but it's not me. And I shouldn't have to prove I am not a rebot, since nobody even knows what a rebot is to begin with. Obviously, this is a typo. A real company proofreads their work. And then next, and this is where it's all leading, we get down to the wonderful verify I am not a robot. We got it spelled correctly this time, but with a lowercase I. Again, proofreading would have caught that error very quickly. Now, I did not click on that button. I actually did take this scam email to another computer that is not connected with any of my regular systems. I save that for dodgy links and scammers and whatever. After a while, you end up with so many out-of-date computers, you might as well put some of them to use. But by the time I got this email over there and attempted to go to their site, it was already down. So I think what happened was that little disclaimer down at the bottom that directs you to webmail is probably what did them in, because the folks who run webmail.com, we are talking a massive server program there, server farm. Yeah, they are serious professionals, and directing your potential scam victims to a serious professional is going to be the kiss of death. So I expect somebody contacted webmail.com, said, look what I got, and webmail.com were the ones that have this email taken down. So by the time I got there, no longer functioning. What is my theory? I think that this is phishing, and that's with a PH. Phishing with a PH is an internet term used when people are attempting to trick you into giving your information. You're already prepped for this by verify I am not a robot, so you're going to expect they will be trying to get you to prove you are a human. Most verify I am not a robot programs ask you to identify pictures, or to, well, basically it's all identify pictures. Sometimes you can have the voiceover, you listen to the voice, type in the numbers they say to you. They don't ask you for personal information. I expect this one was going to ask for personal information, which you should never, ever share on the internet, no matter who they are. If they say, I am from your bank, get off the internet, telephone your bank, speak to someone you know there, because we all know at least one or two of the bank tellers. Speak to someone you know there, talk to them, but do not share personal information. In this case, because they have come at me through my email account, I expect what they would have tried to do was get enough information about my email accounts so that they could take over the email account, just seize it and use it for their own purposes. In my case, because this is an email account that is associated with my YouTube channel that many of my viewers are familiar with because, if you participated in the pen giveaway, there you go. That would have been extremely dangerous, much more so than if someone had hijacked my neighbor Jane's email account that she uses to download knitting patterns. It would have just given them a pool of people along with the semblance of credibility by using my email account. Could have been very dangerous. So I have to watch out for this. I am angry, to be honest with you, angry with YouTube that they insist on this level of exposure, that contact information, because it does put all YouTube viewers at risk when a creator has to release their email information. You got to know there are going to be scammers who are going to find ways to take advantage of this and then target those viewers. All right. So anyway, that was our scam awareness moment. Actually, it was longer than a moment. But we had at least half a dozen very serious red flags. I didn't even count the little grammatical things like missing commas, because, quite frankly, you can leave commas out and not necessarily be a scammer. But with all those red flags, you all should have been able to spot immediately that this was a scam email and that you should not click that link. But remember, unless you know who it's coming from, don't go clicking links. So, all right, on to what I wanted to discuss this morning. I spoke last weekend about how to start your diet in a way that's going to maximize your chances of success. And that's by choosing foods you like to eat. And once we have that little core group of foods and we have meals that we are planning out of that core group. So I shared with you, fish is on my core group of food. So is yogurt. Now, I'm not using them together. Fish and yogurt are not going to be my meal plan. However, I do have fruits and vegetables, and that's where my meal plans are coming from. And then once we have that basic framework, we can go in and start tweaking. For me, this is the fun part. So I wanted to give you some real examples of my tweaking. Originally, I had chosen whey yogurt, which is practically dessert. I don't know what they're marketing it as, but I see this as yogurt dessert because it's a tasty, sweet yogurt with fruit in it, and it's in a little glass dish, jar, not even, pot. That's what it is, a little glass pot. And it's attractive and it's yummy. So, of course, that's going to go to the top of my list. Again, I don't like depriving myself. But once I actually took a look at the nutrition information in that yogurt, I started rethinking this and said, well, I can get yogurt almost anywhere. And I started looking at what I wanted this yogurt to do. I wanted it to be tasty, obviously. Again, don't deprive yourselves. If you are not happy with what you're eating, you're going to eat something else, and it's not going to be on your list. So the yogurt has to be tasty. That was my number one rule. 2, the yogurt has to have high protein, because that's what I rely on yogurt for. For those of us who get older, we have to keep an eye on our protein. And so yogurt, high protein, good deal. Also, I wanted it to be a product that was readily available at my local stores so that I didn't have to go traipsing across town to Whole Foods or some health food market or whatever to get the yogurt. So after some trial and error, I eventually moved over to Dannon Light and Fit Greek yogurt. And here are the nutrition panels on both of them. Now, mind you, the wee yogurt, I had to split that nutrition panel into 2 segments. So if you will start reading at the top, you'll realize when you read the section below it that, yeah, there's going to be overlap. That's just a function of the fact that it has a very long, narrow nutrition information panel. The Dannon Light and Fit, and by the way, it's coconut to coconut, so this is a head-to-head comparison. The Dannon Light and Fit beat out the wee in every single category. In fact, with one exception, it beat them out by double. So more than twice the protein, less than half the calories. The only thing that Dannon beat out, but not by twice as much, was the sodium levels. And although the sodium levels in the Dannon yogurt were not less than half the sodium levels in the wheat yogurt, it was pretty gosh darn close. So it was something like 45 milligrams of sodium in the Dannon to 75 milligrams of sodium in the wheat. Still, significant savings. And at the end of my comparison, I realized that there was just no choice. There was no level on which this wee yogurt, which had been my original choice, was ever going to beat out the Dannon. Not even on taste. Because the fact of the matter is, I like them both. And I like the Dannon quite a lot, just as I like the wee. And if I really get desperate for that fruity taste in the yogurt, all I have to do is throw some berries in, or a spoonful of sugar-free jam or marmalade. By the way, I do keep those on hand. And if you're interested, Smucker's has some very good sugar-free jams and marmalades. They are very tasty. They're like 10 calories, and that's it. Nothing else in it. So basically, you're kind of buying empty calories. But still, you're getting a lot of flavor for those 10 calories. So that is how I tweaked the yogurt. Just trial and error, reading those packages, trying the products. Do I like it? Am I going to be able to make a successful substitute? And yes, I did. I hold the yogurt out because it's probably one of my great successes for a number of reasons. First of all, if I didn't have a nice tasty yogurt to pick out in the fridge, you got to know my diet was not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I would just be saying no thanks, walk away, and then go get my tasty snack stuffs. I really needed to feel like I was doing something good for myself. I needed the success of being able to take one purportedly healthy product and beat the daylights out of it with another even healthier product. I needed that success to convince me that this was a working plan. Because from here I went on to sardines. Now, if you get a can of sardines, there is no nutritional information on it. Trust me, I buy sardines all the time, and I think perhaps 10% of the various brands I have purchased actually have nutritional information on the can. Or for those that come in a can that is also packaged in a box, yeah, still 10%. Why? Because it's fish in a can. If you are selling fish in a can, you are not required to put nutritional information on it any more than you would be required to put nutritional information on, say, hamburger in a package in the meat section. Or, you go to, say, the seafood section of the deli counter, and they will hand you a slab of cod. They wrap it up. They don't have to put nutritional information on it. That is a little dicey, because I would like to know what the nutritional information is for my sardines. And I go online, as I always do whenever I add a food to my food list, and the nutritional information you find on the internet is all over the place. I can go to Bumblebee. They make one of the brands of sardines I often buy. I can go to Bumblebee and ask bumblebee.com what the nutritional information is on their sardines and not find it. I can go to independent websites, and there are many independent websites, calorie counting, nutrition information, etc. So many of them out there, I'm not even going to bother to go through it. Just Google it. You will be flooded with resources, but then choose your favorite. So I go there all over the place. And when I say all over the place, we're talking about the same quantity of sardines. And in my case, it's a 3.75 ounce can. Same quantity. And you will see calories ranging from 120 right up to 300 or 400. You will see the protein going from 12 grams up to 33 grams. That's the highest I saw. So it's very, very unreliable. What I do is I just kind of approximate it based on nutritional information from 3.75 ounces of other fish. Because that's really all you can do. You're going to take a guess one way or the other. And that was a dismal failure. And that's why I needed that yogurt success. I needed to be able to walk away saying, all right, I got this one. Because, like I say, the next one, what a disaster that was. I still, to this day, do not have an accurate answer for sardine nutrition. What I can tell you is, if you get sardines in oil, I know a lot of you are not really interested in this, but if you get sardines in oil, the protein is going to be higher, the calories are going to be higher as well than if you get like sardines in mustard. They sell that. They really do. People buy it. Or tomato sauce. Again, people really buy it. Ugh. So, yeah, you're making a trade-off. I get sardines in oil. And I know many, many people are just revolted by the thought. My mother, oh Lord. My mother figured out very quickly, I don't know how my father got away with this behind her back, but she figured out very quickly that my father had given me a taste for sardines. I would sit in my daddy's lap and we would be picking little fish out of a can and eating them with our fingers. And my mother was repulsed by this. This was just revolting to her. Meanwhile, that woman would eat pickled pig's feet. I swear I'm not making this up. Pickled pig's feet is a real thing. My mother would get them in little jars and eat them. Right in front of us. My father and I would retreat to another room with our little cans of sardines saying, oh, things could be so much worse. Everybody has foods they like and foods they don't like. So when I talk about sardines or yogurt, they are best used as examples only. This is just how you can take this information and apply it to whatever your own foods are. The yogurt, yeah, success story. If it comes in a package with nutritional information, all you have to do is go into the store and start reading those packages. And then when you find a likely candidate, whatever it is, it could be yogurt, it could be a prepackaged cheese product, it could be a can of beans. Oh, gosh, stay away from beans. I recently checked out a can of low-sodium beans from my favorite bean company, which is Bush. I like Bush's beans. And mind you, I'm from New England. We used to make our own beans. A bean was something you bought in a bag in the store and cooked on your stove for 3 days. So I'm bean picky. They do make a good bean. However, even their low sodium varieties are through the roof. It's like you'd be better off just going out, getting a bottle of soy sauce and drinking it straight from the bottle, because you are going to be taking in so much sodium. That's just a little bit of news for our people who are watching their sodium intake. Beans are a killer. Of course, soy sauce is the worst. By the way, if you are watching your sodium and you do like soy sauce, I watch my sodium and I have a fondness for Asian food. Go to Amazon and get low sodium soy sauce there, because I have already done the groundwork for you. I have to buy this stuff in 2 bottles, and I think they are about a quart each. On the other hand, soy sauce will last almost forever. Oh, and before we leave, let me just leave you with one little postscript about that adventure in finding a healthier yogurt. Yeah, the new yogurt is considerably less expensive than the one it was replacing. So it was a win on every possible level. So again, let me encourage you to read labels, and once you feel like you have your core foods together, tweak them. All you're looking for is a little improvement here and there, and this will give you an opportunity to try new foods in the same general categories that you already know you like, and it gives you a sense of control over what it is you're eating. So if you look at this and say, well, I like cold cereal in the morning for breakfast, so, maybe go from the 2% milk to the 1% milk. I'm not a milk drinker, so neither one of those really appeal to me. Or maybe check a different brand of cereal that has more vitamins in it. Perhaps, fewer calories. And you can stay on top of your food choices very easily this way. But remember, it's a good opportunity to experiment, to see if you can put healthier foods, lower calorie foods into your diet permanently. Because what we're talking about here is not, this is a diet I'm going to go on for 2 months until I lose, the 10 pounds I want to get rid of. This is about changing your relationship with food. And it should be an interactive relationship. It shouldn't be a one and done. Although, you know me, I love one and done. I want to get everything down pat and never have to worry about it again. But it should be interactive. It should be ongoing. You should be open to new experiences, new foods, new cuisines that come into your life. So this is not about just, this is the only thing I'm going to eat forever and ever, and that's the end of it. No, it will give you the tools to make good choices when new options come along. So that's one of my little food tweaking examples. I hope you will be able to learn from my mistakes And, also learn from my success, because as I say, the yogurt was a win on all levels. I still don't know the actual nutritional value of sardines, a food I have been eating literally since I had teeth. Because believe me, my father started me on sardines when I was very young. So yeah, still don't know. So we will have some successes, we will have failures, but enjoy the successes and move on from the failures, because it's not about one and done. It's an ongoing relationship with what we're eating. All right, that is what I have for you today. I will be showing you a slideshow on the way out. I'm going to try something that is not food related. I don't have very many food related slideshows. We'll try something entertaining. And I hope to see you next time. In the meanwhile, have a terrific day.